Jezebel is a famous figure in the Bible, known for her role as a queen and a villain in the stories of the Old Testament. Her story is mainly found in the first and second books of Kings. She wasn't an Israelite. She was a princess from the kingdom of Sidon, and her story is intertwined with themes of power, idolatry, and conflict between the worship of the Hebrew God, Yahweh, and Canaanite god Baal. Let's go through her story step by step. Jezebel became the queen of Israel by marrying King Ahab, who ruled the northern kingdom of Israel. This marriage was likely arranged to form a political alliance between Israel and Sidon. However, Jezebel brought more than just political connections to Israel. She also brought her religious beliefs, worshipping Baal and Asherah rather than Yahweh, the God of Israel. As Queen Jezebel didn't just privately practice her religion, she actively promoted the worship of Baal and Asherah. She persuaded her husband, Ahab, to build altars and temples for Baal, and she supported hundreds of prophets of Baal and Asherah with royal funds. This led Israel away from worshiping Yahweh, causing a major religious conflict within the kingdom. Jezebel's promotion of Baal worship and persecution of Yahweh's prophets brought her into direct conflict with Elijah, one of the most famous prophets of Yahweh. Elijah challenged the prophets of Baal to a contest on Mount Carmel to determine which god was real, Yahweh or Baal. Yahweh answered Elijah's call by sending fire from heaven to burn his sacrifice, while Baal did not respond to his prophets. After this victory, Elijah ordered the people to seize all the prophets of Baal, and they were executed. Another well-known story involving Jezebel is the incident with Naboth's vineyard. Naboth owned a vineyard that King Ahab wanted, but Naboth refused to sell it because it was his family's inheritance. Ahab became sullen and angry over this. Jezebel decided to take matters into her own hands. She arranged for false witnesses to accuse Naboth of blasphemy, leading to Naboth's execution. After Naboth was killed, Ahab took possession of the vineyard. This act of murder and theft drew the condemnation of Elijah, who prophesied that Jezebel and Ahab's family would be destroyed for their sins. The prophecy against Jezebel eventually came true. After Ahab's death, there was a revolt against Jezebel's son, King Joram. Jehu, who was anointed by a prophet of Yahweh to become king and eliminate Ahab's family, led the revolt. When Jehu came to Jezreel, where Jezebel was, she put on makeup and looked out of a window, perhaps trying to either seduce him or meet her end with dignity. Jehu ordered her servants to throw her out of the window. She was killed, and her body was left to be eaten by dogs, just as Elijah had prophesied. Jezebel's name has become synonymous with wickedness and idolatry, and her story is often cited as a warning against turning away from God to follow false idols. Her actions and their consequences are used to illustrate the themes of justice, the conflict between true and false worship, and the eventual downfall that comes from opposing God's will. Despite the negative portrayal, her story also reflects the complex interplay of politics, religion, and power in ancient Israel.